I'm David Byrd. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has postponed a scheduled trip to Ukraine so he can focus on the situation in Iraq. In a statement Wednesday, State Department spokeswoman Morgan Ortega said Pompeo had postponed the trip to Ukraine, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Cyprus because he was needed in Washington to monitor ongoing developments in Iraq. Ortega said the trip would be rescheduled in the near future, and in her words, the secretary looks forward to the trip at that time. Pompeo was scheduled to be the most senior U.S. official to visit Ukraine since the scandal that led to the impeachment of President Donald Trump. The secretary did speak Wednesday with Iraqi Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi as Iranian-backed paramilitary groups protesting U.S. airstrikes in Iraq withdrew from the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. We get more from Reuters' Matthew Laratunda.
Mohammed al-Haidari is a ranking member of the coalition known as the Popular Mobilization Forces. The PMF leadership says their message has been heard and never intended for violence. The Americans are there to train Iraqi forces or combat terrorism, he says. The killing of PMF members is unacceptable. The U.S. airstrikes that targeted the Kataib Hezbollah militia, which falls under the PMF's umbrella, killed or wounded scores. However, Kataib Hezbollah is considered a terrorist organization by Washington, even though it's technically a unit within the Iraqi government's own armed forces. The Prime Minister is furious over the airstrikes but has pleaded for calm. The PMF says its call to withdraw is in deference to him.
That's Matthew Laratunda of Reuters reporting. For more, be sure to visit our website, voanews.com. This is VOA News. Wednesday brought some relief in the weather, but the toll to life and property continued to rise in Australia's devastating bushfires. Julian Satterthwaite of Reuters has more.
Police say around 200 homes have been destroyed, but caution that's an early estimate. Wednesday brought cooler conditions and a little respite. But there are still more than 100 blazes in the state of New South Wales alone. Overnight, thousands of Australians took refuge on beaches and in small boats to escape the inferno on land. Navy ships and helicopters are being brought in to help with supplies and evacuations. Now any relief from the fires may be temporary. By Saturday, officials expect a return to the scorching weather that created the tinder-dry conditions.
That's Julian Satterthwaite reporting. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has expressed deep concern after North Korean leader Kim Jong-un threatened to resume long-range missile and nuclear tests. As AP's Shelley Adler reports, Kim also warned of an unspecified shocking action if the United States did not soften its stance in nuclear talks.
From the Christmas gift that hasn't happened, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un warned of unspecified shocking action. That's after expressing deep frustration over stalled nuclear talks. He also said that his country will soon reveal a new strategic weapon to the world as it bolsters its nuclear deterrent in the face of what he called gangster-like U.S. pressure. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, appearing on Fox News Channel's Special Report Tuesday, says he's still focusing on diplomacy.
We're hopeful that the Chairman Kim will make the right decision. He'll choose peace and prosperity over conflict and war.
Shelley Adler, Washington.
Officials in Afghanistan said Wednesday Taliban insurgents have killed at least 28 pro-government forces in overnight attacks in the north of the country. An Afghan official told VOA a security outpost in Kunduz province came under a major insurgent attack that left 13 pro-government forces dead. Another 15 security personnel were killed in the neighboring Balkh and Takhar provinces. Despite harsh weather, the Taliban has staged almost daily battlefield attacks in Afghanistan's northern and northeastern provinces, killing some 100 Afghan forces and injuring many more. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Wednesday said he would ask Parliament to grant him immunity from corruption charges, a step that could delay his trial for months. Netanyahu was indicted in November on charges of bribery, fraud, and breach of trust after failing to assemble a governing majority following back-to-back elections last year. For more, visit voanews.com. I'm David Byrd, VOA News.